Hey, it's James here from Guitarist.com, and welcome back to 30 Days of Guitar. It's the beginning of week 3. I think that's day 15. And today I want to do something totally different. I want to play the blues. And the blues is basically this universal chord progression that, so many songs are made from, and there's so many different ways to play it. Today we're going to do it more like a Johnny B. Goode style, a little bit slower than that, because Johnny B. Goode is like super duper fast. And it just takes a couple fingers and the blues. As far as the chord progression for the blues, that is in my free ebook. I have a link to that in the corner, so you can just print that out and follow along a bit more easily. Although once you practice enough, like you learn one blues, you literally learn them all. So it is something worth committing to memory over time, and we'll have all the visuals in this lesson anyways. Now, to get started, I want to put my first finger on the second fret of the D string. So we just count up E, A, D, and the second fret. And we're going to play the A string and the D string at the same time. And in order to do that, we're just going to make a little pluck. And I'm kind of aiming out. I don't want to follow through. That way I might get some extra strings that I don't want, right? So I have a little pluck. And then I'm going to put my ring finger on the 4th fret. And this is quite the stretch. You have to put your elbow in, put your guitar neck up. If you find that it's just a bit too much, you can also use your pinky finger. I find that's a lot simpler, and that's not just some cheat. I do see a lot of pro players use that. One of my buddies is super good. Always throwing his pinky down when he's doing that kind of shape. Anyways, we just go between those two notes, on the D string, the 2nd fret and the 4th fret, and our plucking is aiming at the A string, and it kind of just follows through into the next string. So let's just try that, going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we every time we move our finger, we pluck it twice, basically. 1 and then we change the finger, 2 and 3 and 4 and this is the basic motion, and there's so much you can do with it. You could go like, add a swing feel to it. You could go really fast. That's more like what Johnny B. Goode would feel like. But it all starts with the very fundamental version of, I guess you would call this boogie woogie style. I think it was like Fats Waller or like one of those piano players like back in the 20s who pioneered it. But on guitar, that's how we do it, and just get used to that. From there, we can learn to move it over. So we're just going to move our first finger to the 2nd fret of the G string now, and our pick is going to aim for the D string. And we go between that. And rather than write this all out in tab, we can just write out chord symbols and assume that we're going to do the boogie woogie style. So for that first one, where our index finger was on the D string at the 2nd fret and we're plucking the open A string, I would call that an A chord. The root is the A string, so that's how we can remember that. That'll help us learn the string better too, right? We're aiming at the A string, we have an A chord. And then for this one, where we move over, our root is the D string, so we have a D chord. That's our chord symbol, so when you see D, you do this. And now we have E. And I want you to just take a guess. Where do you think we would find E? I'm just going to give you a couple seconds here. The open string is the key to understanding this. We have an E chord symbol, so our root is going to be the E string. And then we're going to put our index finger on the next string at the 2nd fret. And that would be our E chord, kind of like our E minor, except just the very bottom of it, the very root of it, right? And we do the same thing for the E chord. So all in all, our blues has 3 chord shapes. It takes up 12 measures. It's the 12-bar blues. The first 4 measures is just A. Then there's 2 measures of D, 2 measures of A. Then finally, the turnaround, E, D, and 2 measures of A. And I have this written down in this exact chord chart in my free ebook, so you can print this out if you'd like. That is the blues. There are slight variations you can make, like popping in a D chord here and there, etc. But 3 chords, 12 bars, you just play it over and over again. You can add some melody notes to it, like the melody notes that we played for Wonderful Tonight. If you just copied those notes, you could pretty much take a solo over this, but that's a whole other thing. Improvise, I don't really want to get into that, whole other topic. Regardless, we have our 12-bar blues. We know what to do on each chord shape. So let's walk through it now and count it out. It says A, so my root is going to be the A string. I'm going to put my second finger on the next string just underneath it, and I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's 1 measure. We have 3 measures to go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and third measure, 2 and 3 and 4 and fourth measure, 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to switch to D. We're on the 5th measure. We play 2 measures of D. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Back to A. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and E. 2, 3, 4. D. 2, 3, 4 and A. 2, 3, 4. A. 2, 3, 4. When it comes to practicing this and getting it under your fingers, I would work on that final line, E, D, A, A, because that requires the most jumping around. The first line, just playing A the whole time, right? Not much of a workout there. But if we focus on E, and then jumping over to D, we have to move over 2 times. And we have to move our pick with that. That's probably the trickiest part. So I would just go between those 2, nice and steady, over and over again, at your own pace. You could pick each one once, like this. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then land on A when you're ready. And just do it in that simplified way. That's a really good way to work on it too. Either way, that is our Boogie Woogie Blues. Now let's play it together. I'm going to get out my metronome. 64 beats per minute. If this is too quick, you can always slow down with that gear icon in the corner on YouTube. Just a little tip. And you can slow it to whatever speed you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3. You could always just pick once. 2, 3, 4. And do it that way, to get into it. But I'm going to this way, over to E, make that jump to D, back to A, so that's the blues with that famous boogie woogie riff kind of thing. I have the chord chart in my free ebook if you want to print it out and kind of read this whole thing. And I also recently added an entirely new chapter to my beginner course. I added a chapter all about the blues just a month or 2 ago. So if you want to experience the blues in like a bunch of different ways, please check that out. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you tomorrow.